All right, and welcome to Probability with Replacement Level 1. Now, number 1 says this: a bag of marbles contains 4 red, 6 blue, and 2 yellow marbles. What is the probability of drawing a red and then a blue marble with replacement? Y'all, that word with is so key. That's going to be the focus of this video series. Now, how do we find probability? Let's say probability is this: is the number of successful outcomes, so we could just say the number of successes, okay, over the total number of options. So I want you to imagine that you have this bag of marbles that has 4 red, 6 blue, and 2 yellow marbles. Well, the first thing that you have to do is you always have to figure out, hey, what is my total number of options? And so what we want to do is add all three numbers. So let's do 4 plus 6 plus 2. And I'm sure you can tell 4 plus 6 is 10, and 10 plus 2 is 12. This would be our total number of options. Now we want to say, hey, what's the probability of drawing a red marble? Well, what you do is you say, how many red marbles are there? And we know that there are 4 red marbles. So I'll write 4 over 12 times, and then since it's with replacement, I want you to imagine reaching into this bag of marbles, pulling out that first marble, but when it's with replacement, we want to put that marble back in. And so then we say, okay, well then how many blue marbles are there? Well, we know that there are 6 blue marbles, and since we put that original marble back in, there's still 12 marbles total. Okay? Now we can multiply this in a calculator. We can multiply this by hand. I'll show you 2 different ways. One, how do we multiply fractions? Well, we do top times top, so 4 times 6 is 24, and bottom times bottom, 12 times 12 is 144. And I know that 24 and 144 are both multiples of 12, so it's just very easily I could divide these both by 12. 24 divided by 12 is 2. 144 divided by 12 is 12. Well, wait a second, I can divide both of those by 2. I can reduce it one step further, and 2 divided by 2 is 1 over 12 divided by 2 is 6. So the probability of us drawing a red and then a blue marble with replacement is 1 out of 6 times. Okay, just very quickly, what else could I have done? Well, you could actually reduce these initially. So I know 4 and 12 can both be divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1, and 12 divided by 4 is 3, times, right here, 6 and 12 can both be divided by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. Once again, to multiply fractions, top times top, 1 times 1 is 1, and 3 times 2 is 6, and we get our 1/6. So you can either multiply these at the beginning and then reduce, or personally, I would encourage you to reduce them each at the beginning, and then it's just easier to get your answer from there. Either way, the answer is 1 out of 6. All right, pause the video, finish taking notes, and let's go on to our second example. Okay, in example 2, we have a standard deck of cards. Now, anytime you see a standard deck of cards, always understand that in a deck of cards there are 52 cards total. Okay, there are 52 cards total. Now, when it comes to a value card, that one's easy. Remember, each card has a value of an ace, a 2, a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But then after 10, a lot of students get confused. We then have a jack, a queen, and a king. Now, not only do we have and then when we speak of values, you have to ask yourself, how many of each are there? Well, there are 4 aces. And remember, there's 4 aces out of 52 cards total. All right? Well, not only are there 4 aces, there's 4 twos, there's 4 tens, there's 4 jacks, there's 4 queens, there's 4 kings. So anytime we have a value, we always know that that's going to start out as 4 out of 52. Now, suits can be a little bit trickier. What are the suits? Well, the suits are, there's 4. There's a heart, a diamond, a club, and a spade. Remember, a spade is just another way of saying a shovel. So that funky looking symbol is supposed to resemble a shovel. And there's 2 ways y'all can think of suits. One, if I ask you, hey, what's the probability of drawing a spade? You can think, well, you know what? There's 1 spade out of all 4 suits total. So possibility 1, and the easiest one to use, is 1 out of 4. Now, in our next video series, when we're talking about without replacement, you have to understand that there is 1 of each value that has a heart. So for instance, count them out. There's an ace of hearts, a two of hearts, a three of hearts, all the way up to a 10 of hearts, jack of hearts, queen of hearts, king of hearts, and know that each independent value, there are 13 total. So the other way you can think of a suit is there are actually 13 hearts out of 52 cards total. And if you reduce 13 over 52, it gives you 1 over 4. I want you to think of suits as interchangeably either 1 out of 4 or 13 out of 52. Okay, last thing. What happens when I'm talking about a really specific card? When I talk about the value of a suit. For instance, we would call this card the Ace of Diamonds. And you would ask yourself, well, how many Ace of Diamonds are there? And the answer is there's 1. When you see this word of, there are 1 out of 52. So think about it, there's an Ace of Diamonds, there's an Ace of Hearts, there's an Ace of Clubs, there's an Ace of Spades. That's how you get 4 aces, because there's 1 of each suit. Okay, so with all that preamble out of the way, what's the probability of drawing a spade? Well, if it's with replacement, just use the 1 out of 4. There's 1 spade out of all 4 suits, so 1 over 4 times. And then what's the probability of drawing a king? Well, we know that a king is a value, so that's 4 out of 52. Now remember, when you're multiplying fractions, you can actually reduce the top of one fraction with the denominator of the other fraction. And so this is really saying like 4 divided by 4. Well, 4 over 4 reduces to 1 over 1. AKA, it's like those two things cancel out, and your answer is 1 over 52. Alright, I hope that helps, and I will see y'all in our next video.